What's up, party people? Hiya, mamas. How you doing? We're here live to discuss, can I be a good mom and have a career? And I'm excited to have this conversation with you because I am a mom. I have a career. Stacy's a mom. She has a career. So we have a lot to say about this topic, and we're excited to have you here. And it's actually it's just going to be me today. You're stuck with me today. Me and my mama bear mug. For all the mama bears out there. So let's discuss. Can I be a mom and have a good career? Oh, I also have I wore my favorite maternity shirt, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's a really good one that says, the force is strong with this one, and then it has lightning bolts to your belly, which I am not pregnant. I just kept this shirt, okay? This is not going to be an announcement. Factory is shut down. I was just on Instagram Live, and someone asked me if I was having another one, and I was like, no, I am not. I can't handle it. And we can talk about why another time. Petra, love the hair and hoops. Thank you. Hey, Laura, if you're just tuning in, go ahead and write into the chat, say hi. Let's see who's here and where you are tuning in from. I'm so excited to be talking with you today about being a mom and having a career. This is a really close to my heart sort of topic because for a lot of years, I didn't think I could do both. I just didn't think I had the physical energy for it, and I kind of barely do. I don't know. Shout out if you're a mom. Holy energy expenditure. I have never in my life been so tired. Anyone? Like, oh my God. Hey, Melinda. Hi, Jane. Hey, Samantha. Hey, Laura and Elizabeth and Candace and Deborah. What's up? Welcome. Hi, Laura. I'm so excited you guys are here with me for the Tuesday tips. Aubrey, hey, single mom, cheers to you. Big cheers. Because while at times my husband drives me crazy, I don't know if he left, like, who would help me with the child? And I'm sure I drive him completely crazy. I am not an easy person to live with. That's the truth. You heard it here on Tuesday tips. Hi, Jillian. Hi, Elizabeth. Hey, Kimberly. Hi, Andrea. Welcome. So let's get started, and I want to talk about this. So actually, I'm curious, if you're watching, if you are a mama, shout out. If you are a mama. And if you are not a mama, shout out, because you might be somebody who's thinking about having kids at some point, and you might wonder, like I did, can I really have a career and have kids at the same time? Can I have two things that require an enormous amount of passion and energy at the same time? And oh, by the way, I might have a spouse or a partner. So go ahead and shout out if you're a mama, if you're thinking about becoming a mama, and if you know a mom or someone who's thinking about becoming a mom, but they're worried that they can't have a career, if she's worried that she can't rock it out at home and rock it out at work, then go ahead and tag her so she can hear this message today. Hopefully it will be helpful, if you find it helpful, to share the message so it can be helpful for someone else. Oh, look, moms and grandmoms. Yeah, nice. Hey, Jane, 3 adult children and 3 grandkids. Not bad. Look what you've created. You've created 6 people. Does that ever blow your mind? Did that ever blow your mind? I was just saying on Instagram that I was standing in Whole Foods today waiting the checkout line, and I was noticing my ribs, which still really stick out pretty far from having the baby. And it occurred to me, I was like, wow, my ribs are the way they are because I had a human in my body. A human. Is that the craziest thing in the world? A human. Women, we make people. Go figure. It's just a mind blow. Okay, so welcome. If you're just joining Tuesday Tips, we're talking about, can I be a mom and can I be a good mom and have a career? Because I know this is a big question for a lot of people. So because I'm a coach, and I know a lot of you are coaches or thinking about becoming coaches, if a client said to me, she came to me and said, I want to be a mom, but I want to be a good mom and I want to have a career. And my first question would be, because one of the things that we do as coaches is we ask very specific questions so we can get to the core of the issue. That's what I want to do in this Tuesday Tips today. I want to get to, excuse me, I want to check a note. I was looking at a resource today about getting to the core of a situation and freedom from a burden, like just cleaning house of emotional stuff. I want to cut through a lot of emotional stuff and just get to the core. And that's what good questions do, good coaching questions do. So if a client came to me and said, can I be a good mom and have a career? My first question would be, good according to whom? Good according to whom? Right? Now, if a client came to me and said, I can't be a good mom and have a career, I would ask, who says you can't? Because what we have to begin to explore when you're thinking about or conflicted by the notion, can I be a good mom? Can I have a career? Can these things coexist without my career making me a worse mom, basically? Because at the end of the day, we all care about being a mom probably a little more than our career, but the career is really important to who we are. And it's sort of like these competing priorities. So instead of either or, how can we open up to both and? So the way that we start to do that is beginning to explore, how do we define good? What is our criteria for knowing that we're good? Because until you have that criteria, you'll never know if you are good. And if you never know if you're good, then you can't possibly add anything else to the mix, like a career, because you haven't figured out this part yet. Well, I'm not good yet. I don't know. I can't do more if I'm not doing this thing right. So I'm curious if this is resonating for any of you, to go ahead and type into the chat, what does being a good mom mean for you? What's your criteria around being a good mom? I'm curious to hear some of your answers, because what tells us what a good mother is a combination of our programming and our truth. So what tells us what a good mother is a combination of our programming and our truth. So everything that you, Siley, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly, saying her definition of a good mom is doing everything right. Yeah, well, that's a pretty hard, that's a difficult standard to hit, that's for sure. Denise is saying, my fear is that I can't devote my time the way I want to my kids, and then I'm worried about my job and my livelihood. Absolutely. Laura's saying, I want to be able to be present for my 3 kids. Okay, Christina saying having the time and energy to spend with them. Ooh, Laura, this is lovely. First, providing. Second, listening. Third, guiding. Nice. Okay, so we talked about our programming and our truth is what tells us what a good mom is. So what we want to look at first is our programming. And when I first proposed the question, I want to be a good mom and have a career, and then as a coach I would say, good according to whom? That's where we first want to look. So who taught you what a good mother is? Who taught you what a good mother is? I'm curious in the chat, where do you feel like you learned what it is to be a mother? Now, some might obviously say, well, my own mother, but not everybody was either raised by their birth mother, or not everybody was raised by a mother. It might have been a grandmother or a family member or an aunt. You know, who was it that taught you what it means to be a good mother? And you want to look at the person that taught you what it means to be a good mother. There are certain expectations that you hold yourself to around that. So for example, my mother stayed at home. And so part of my programming says that a good mother stays at home. So for you, when you think about who taught you how to be a mother, what are some of the beliefs or programming that come with that? So whoever you learned from, what were some of the beliefs you took away? So one was, for me, was to be a good mother means staying at home. Another one was to be a good mother was to provide a beautiful home. Gosh, my mom was an amazing, how do I say this, a keeper of a home. Like, it was like we lived in the frickin' Ritz-Carlton, not because we were rich and everything was fancy, but because it was so spotlessly clean and perfectly organized and like stunningly beautiful. And even if it was decorated to the hilt, like, so in my mind, that's part of what it means to be a good mom. Another thing I learned from my mother is that when someone is sick, to be an amazing caretaker. My mom was unbelievably nurturing if we were sick. It was like actually kind of awesome to be sick, which that's a whole nother, that's a whole other Tuesday Tips. So I learned that I was going to need to be an amazing nurturer, right? Laura's asking, can you have taught yourself what a good mother is based on your own experiences? Yes, and that gets us to the other part of the equation, and we'll get there in just a moment. So right now we're looking at programming, and then we want to look at our truth. Another thing that I felt like as a mom was that I had an insane notion that my kid would never, I didn't want her to ever be hurt. That is insane. But the reason why we're looking at these programming pieces and these beliefs is because they are the secret expectations that we are holding ourselves to and likely always falling short. So if we're worried about being a good mom, one of the things that we have to look at is what are the secret expectations that I'm holding myself to that I can never ever meet? Because either it's not possible, like my kid will never experience hurt, that's not possible, that's not even being, if you're human, you're going to experience pain. Or like Siley said, to do everything right, not possible, right? So noticing if the secret expectation that you're holding yourself to is either not possible or not yours. So my mom staying at home, this actually kind of came from her family too. It was a big deal to stay at home and raise your kids to my grandparents. My grandfather in particular, I feel, that a woman went out and got a college, get yourself a college education, but then you stay home and you raise those kids. And if you don't, you're not being a good mom. And he never said that, but that was kind of what I took away. So we have to be able to parse out what is programming versus what is true for you. So staying home and being a good mom if you stay home, that's programming. What's true for me is I'll be a terrible mom if I stay home because I'll be miserable because I love my work. I need to work. And I can't be with someone all the time. I just can't. Not anybody. I love my child like crazy. I can't be with her all the time. So that's true. Now, when we start to be able to parse out the programming from what's true, then we get to start to create our own criteria for what a good mom is. And then I can start to sort of build my life around meeting that criteria, and I can feel like I'm doing a good job. And whether a career comes in or an issue, like maybe a crisis with a friend comes in, or I'm moving a house, like anything external in my environment that would come in to affect my time and my energy would be okay because I know my criteria for being a good mom and I can meet it a good amount of the time, not all the time, right? So curious if this is making sense for you to go ahead and type into the chat. I see for Mariah, this is making sense. Excellent. Right. So another thing we want to think about as a mom is the way that we worry about hurting our kid. And then, oh my God, they're going to be hurt. If I'm not home, is my child going to, am I going to be disconnected from them? Are they going to feel that I don't love them? Are they going to feel that I'm not coming first? Am I going to put some like deep wounding on my child if I have a career and I'm not home. I'm curious if anyone has that worry. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about this in a second. I love this idea that Antoinette just posted. I'm working to find the balance between being home and being with the children. This is a great question. Balance. Okay, so I'm going to address that in a second. But the idea is that I think the thing that we have to keep in mind when we're thinking about balancing being a good mom, having a career, is that we have to let go of the expectation, at least that I have, is that somehow I can save my kid from really deep hurt and pain inflicted on her by me. Right? Is anyone worried about that? She's going to be hurt by me, and that's horrifying because I don't want her to be hurt. I love her so much, I don't want her to have any pain, right? But the issue is that you can't be human and get out of having pain. And when you think about it, to come to this human experience, you have to be born to and be cared for by some caretaker. Maybe it's your parent, maybe it's somebody else. And that you're a baby that can't communicate or speak much. You can cry, you don't have a whole lot of tools in your toolkit. And then you have a parent who is exhausted and imperfect and has wounding of their own and whatnot. So you have a little being that can't necessarily fully communicate their needs, and a person who's trying their best but can't read minds either. So along the line, there's going to be times when that kid's needs aren't met. And it's going to be painful for that kid. And now, of course, childhood wounding, there's like a degree of pain. There's some wounding that's unspeakable and horrifying. And then there's just the kind of run of the mill of like, hey, you're never going to be able to meet every need of your child's, and they're going to have pain, right? Whether you have a career or not, you not having a career can't save them from that. So I was writing in my journal the other day and on this, I wanted to read you this excerpt. Sometimes I write and sometimes I hear back, so I'll take just a minute. And I was writing to, that which is greater. And my daughter was having pain or whatever. And she was hurt, she was crying, and it was killing me. And I said, I hate to see my daughter cry and suffer, so I wish I could put a spark of peace in her heart, a feeling of safety and contentment, so she wouldn't have to feel afraid. And the response I got, because it's like written meditation that I do, where I talk and then someone talks back and I write down what they say. And they said, so I said, I wish I could do basically anything so that my child wouldn't have to feel afraid. And they responded and said, so would you deny her humanity? She's meant to taste and experience all the colors of the rainbow, and fear and pain and aching and longing are part of those. Like it or not, she's human. And though charmed, she will feel. So remembering that our kids are going to feel pain and they're resilient. And that doesn't mean, like, whether we have a career or not, this is what is. This is what is. Carl is asking, how's the baby belly you showed off in Mastery? You want to see? See how it's coming along? I'll show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let's see. I'm not going to show I don't think you can see it, but it's getting smaller and smaller. I'm so delighted. So thank you for asking. So what we have to realize is that, to recap, we have secret expectations of ourselves that are based in our programming. And we also have things that are true for us in the way that we want to be with our children. So what we want to do is parse out what's programming and secret expectations, focus on the criteria of what's true for me to be a good mom, and then go about creating my life so that I can express what's right and true for me. So I know I have to work. I can't be with my daughter all the time, but I try to make rituals with her where we know we're going to be together and have fun. And I call it Mama Evie time. And I'll say to her as she's going off to her school and I'm going off to work, I'll say, I'm so excited to see you tonight. We're going to have Mama Evie time. Or my husband would say, we're going to have an adventure. So I'll say on the Saturday, ooh, we're going to have Mama Evie adventure. And I'm the one that's going to get in the pool with her for swim class. I'm the one that's going to be on the soccer field with her, so that we continue to have rituals and time that's special for us, even though it's not all the time. And I have to keep remembering that voice in my head that tells me I have to stay home to be a good mom. That's someone else's truth, not mine. All right, is this useful for you today? I'm hoping. So go ahead and let me know if you are getting value out of this, and if so, what are you taking away that's useful for you? Go ahead and type into the chat and let me know what you're taking away that's feeling useful for you about this subject. And just have maybe a minute or two more where I just want to talk about this idea of balance. And I'm actually curious, for those of you who are moms and work, what you're feeling about balance, what you've discovered about balance and how you have balance. Because I'll tell you what, the only way I've discovered it, and listen, I am so new to this mom thing. My kid is 2.5. There are many of you who have been moms for way longer than I have. So I'm just learning. I'm just figuring out what this is all about and how to have balance. Because ultimately, I have work, I have Evie, and God willing, I have some sleep. And that's kind of it. And I think at some point, I don't know, I think the balance ebbs and flows. And that I'm curious to see if you've found this, and that there are times when there's just no balance at all. Work is crazy, your kid's not sleeping, like it's just nothing, no balance. And then there are other times where if I have a moment where I go, oh, I actually feel like I have a moment to think for myself and breathe. But I'll just tell you, the only way that I've been able to get through or have sort of any semblance of balance, I don't have family nearby. I don't have grandparents that are going to come help, or aunts and uncles that are going to come help, or cousins. All of Evie's aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents, everyone is amazing and loves her like crazy, but nobody's right here in Chicago. So I really have to rely on help that we hire. And I've had a nanny. That's how I've done it. I mean, that nanny taught me how to be a parent. I didn't know what I was doing. So I had a nanny. I have people help with errands sometimes. I have help with cleaning. And that's the only way I've been able to do it. And I know not everyone can do that. And honestly, I couldn't barely do it. It was like, oh my God, this costs what? By the way, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're worried about what your market value is, I can tell you it's enormous. If you were to be paid for your work, you'd be paid a lot. So I've had to do that. With a career, I've had to have help. If I didn't work, I would be able to do more on my own, but I can't. I've also had to let go of a lot of expectations. My house is kind of a mess a lot. There's clutter everywhere. I hate clutter, but it's there, and I just have to deal with it. Because at night when I'm done with work and I've had my cuddle time with Evie and we've done bath and everything, I'm done. I'm not cleaning. I can't. I'm too tired because I can't get up the next day and do it all again. So in any case, whether it's Courtney, I'm seeing Vaughn's delivery service saved me so much time. Yeah, whether it's grocery delivery or having an 8th grader or high school kid down the block come over, finding ways to have help when you have a career is, I think, the thing that helps you have sanity. That's what I've found, and I'm excited to see in the chat from other moms who have had other solutions on how to have balance. All right, let's see. Great. So I'm just looking to see what some of you have taken away from this time. And I see, Janaki, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly, but I love what you're writing. That is, that it might be someone else's truth, but not necessarily mine. Step back and look at my desires and needs. That's right. Absolutely. That is the core of what we're talking about here today. And I'm so excited. And I see some of you asking me about who's talking back to me when I'm writing. And I have another video on Tuesday Tips. Gosh, I wish I could remember the title of it. But if you look through our video section, you can see I talk a little bit about automatic writing and what's happening there. It's not everybody's cup of tea, so watch it or don't watch it, whatevs. But I'm glad we were here today to talk about being a good mom, having a career. And at the end of the day, what it's about is creating a life that's true for you. And that if it's true for you to be a mom and that's what you want to express in your life, it's true for you to have a career and that's what you want to express in your life. And if it's true for you to have a relationship or whatever, a place where you live, and that's true for you, there's always a way to create a life that's true. And I think that that is the point of coaching, that we're helping ourselves and other people connect to their truth and express their truth. That's what we're here to do. That's what this mama bear has to say today. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me, and I will see you on the next video on Tuesday. Bye.